Coming up on BCN today, a house fire in Nobleford tragically claims the life of a 27-year-old man. Plus, the federal court opens a 2-day hearing this morning to hear arguments for a Canadian Human Rights Tribunal ruling. And after a 29-year drought, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers take home the Grey Cup.
Your Canada. Your Southern Alberta. Your stories. From our studios in the heart of Lethbridge, it's BCN Today with Jeanette Roche.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on this Monday. A 27-year-old Nobleford man has died in a house fire. The Nobleford and Barons Fire Departments responded to the home on Milnes Street just after 10 a.m. on Saturday. A passerby had noticed smoke coming from the house, and firefighters found the man's body inside. There were no other people in the house at the time. Officials say damage to the home is primarily located at the back of the structure. The Calgary Medical Examiner's Office will determine the cause of death. Meanwhile, RCMP and Oyen, Alberta are searching for thieves who used a truck to smash through the entrance of a convenience store and then stole the ATM early Saturday morning. The theft was captured on security video and caused structural damage to the Deb Mart Cafe and convenience store. After the suspects took the cash machine, they returned and grabbed cigarettes and lottery tickets. The truck was found later in a rural area, burned. But witnesses say that they left the area driving a dark-colored Dodge Ram truck that was pulling a white enclosed trailer. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Police need the public's assistance in locating this man. His name is Agut Attack Agut. It stems from a robbery police investigated that occurred in the early morning hours of September 20th near Studio 54. At approximately 1:45 in the morning, an altercation occurred between two groups of men, which resulted in one person sustaining a large laceration and personal property taken from him. Police say Agut is responsible and provided a false name, resulting in arrest warrants for robbery, obstructing a peace officer, and identity theft. Agut may be in the Calgary area. Please advise police if his whereabouts are known. Tabor Emergency Services were called out to an area just east of the city early Friday morning. A 4-vehicle collision took place along Highway 3 and Range Road 153 just before 7 a.m. Emergency crews had to extricate one person from their vehicle using the jaws of life. The individual was taken to the hospital in Calgary by a Stars Air ambulance. RCMP continued to investigate the cause of the accident. Tabor Warner Cardston MLA Grant Hunter, the Associate Minister of Red Tape Reduction, spoke to business leaders in Lethbridge. He admitted that his department has been overwhelmed with thousands of requests and is not moving as smoothly and as efficiently as he had first hoped. Hunter explained that the majority of complaints fall into one of 4 categories: Alberta Environment, the Energy Regulator, the Utilities Commission, and Labor. It will take time to sort out, but he's determined to reduce regulatory burdens.
This government is completely focused on making sure that we reduce regulatory burden. We're going to reduce regulatory burden by at least 1/3 over the next 4 years. We're going to make sure that Alberta is the freest and fastest growing economy in North America. This is where we're going to get to, and this is going to help Albertans get back to work, and that's really why we're doing this. Bring that foreign investment and free up our investors here in Alberta so that we can have lots of job opportunities for everyday Albertans.
We want to make sure that we're doing things in our city that encourage investment and reduce red tape and create jobs.
Lethbridge's own Tevi Ligi has been named the Women's Executive Network's 2019 Canada's Most Powerful Women's list, which included her in the Mercedes-Benz Emerging Leaders category for women between the ages of 30 and 40. Ligi, who serves as Vice President of Strategy and Activation for Everyday Financial Services at ATB, was recognized for her efforts to advance the role of women in the business world and for her work to help foster diversity in the workplace.
Winning the Top 100 Most Powerful Women in Canada award to me really means that we're continuing to focus on the advancement of women in the workplace and the importance of that, and the importance of having diverse perspectives around every table at every level. And I think that's really important in not only for our society, but also for advancing our organizations into the future. Lethbridge has this incredible community of women that really empower each other. And to me, being powerful is about empowering other people. And I think Lethbridge is really great at that. We have a community of women that are doing incredible things, and I just feel fortunate to be amongst those incredible humans.
Legis says she's grateful the support she has received from the Lethbridge community. Alberta Health Services is hoping their thought-provoking Opioids Don't Discriminate exhibit will bring some understanding as to how the opioid crisis impacts many people from different backgrounds.
I think with everything going on in Lethbridge right now, this exhibit is incredibly timely in that it's not just about educating about what opioids are. We have a lot of that information. It has that in there, but it also tells some stories and makes it very personal and gives people the tools they need if they're trying to ask for help or if they're wanting to give help to people. You can walk through Max, David, and Natasha's footsteps, see what happened to them, and learn through their experiences. So it's a very interactive exhibit. So what you do is, as you go into the room, you will see signs that say, you are David, you are Max, you are Natasha. You choose one of those, and you actually have a little stone that you put in your shoe. And as you have that stone in your shoe, you'll be told to do different things with it throughout the exhibit. Ways to relieve that pain, ways to ignore that pain, or what you're supposed to do to really get you into the mindset of what's going on with these characters.
Nearly a quarter of Albertans have rolled up their sleeves to receive the influenza vaccine this season. New numbers released Thursday from Alberta Health Services support over 1 million doses of the vaccine have been administered.
'Tis the season of joy and germs. We have a number of different viruses and bacteria circulating, actually not atypical for this time of year. So we are heading well into our influenza season. We've seen an increased incidence rate of new confirmed influenza cases, and that is all the way from, it sort of started Calgary, Brooks, and also now in our area here in Lethbridge. There are a number of different strains of influenza also that are circulating. So if you're immunized to one strain, you may get it again with another strain.
Influenza and immunization is currently available free of charge to all Albertans age 6 months and older. Need some help with gift wrapping this holiday season? If you're shopping at Park Place Mall, Volunteer Lethbridge is offering that convenience daily until December 24th. Executive Director Diane Sim says they can use some more volunteers though.
Yeah, we've been an organization that's been around for a long time, and so we really focus on connecting volunteers to opportunity. I think volunteering really is an investment. It's an investment in your community, and it's an investment in yourself. This also is one way to help eliminate some of the stress that you have at this extra time of year with volunteers who would love to wrap, giving them an opportunity, but also helping you out.
Wrapping prices begin at $3 depending on the size of the gift. The Rehoboth Ministries annual breakfast and Christmas craft and poinsettia sale took place over the weekend at their Coaldale facilities. The beautiful flowers and crafts raise funds to help expand the services provided for adults living with disabilities.
So today we have our big pancake breakfast, Christmas craft sale, poinsettia sale, children's craft fundraiser. The fundraising, the pancake breakfast is put on by our auxiliary, and it's a wonderful group of people that get together and serve delicious pancakes, and the monies that is generated through the pancake breakfast goes into the Coaldale program and the Lethbridge program. Right now we're focused on putting together or building a sensory park. So all the crafts that you see in the storefront, we have the individuals that we're serving, they volunteer their time to create these beautiful, beautiful crafts.
Justice Department lawyers will be in federal court this morning asking for a stay of a Canadian Human Rights Tribunal ruling. In September, the federal government was ordered to pay billions of dollars in compensation to First Nations children taken from their parents after 2006. The ruling came shortly before the start of the federal election campaign, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says more time is needed for consultation than the tribunal's deadline of December 10th allows. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says Ottawa must do more to help end the CN rail strike. He says the dispute is affecting the mining industry, the energy sector, and agriculture. Quebec's premier says the province is now rationing propane, and as of Friday, they only had a few days of supply remaining. About 3,200 members of the Teamsters Canada Rail Conference have been off the job since last Tuesday after the union and CN Rail failed to reach a contract. Transport Minister Marc Garneau says federal mediators are at work and that it's the best way to resolve the dispute.
We are, as I say, focused on trying to get the two sides to resolve their issues through collective bargaining. We are there to help with mediation, and we are confident that that is the best way to find the solution so that we can get the CN back to work and all those trains operating and all those products being delivered.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is reaffirming his government's commitment to end gender-based violence in a statement marking the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Trudeau says far too many women, girls, and people of diverse gender identities and gender expressions face violence. The government is launching 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and Trudeau is inviting all Canadians to reflect on what they can do to end it. Here's the latest on what's happening south of the border and around the world today. The U.S. Navy Secretary has been fired. Mike Bloomberg is running for president, and pro-democracy parties win big in Hong Kong. Here's your Associated Press Minute.
This is AP News Minute. Defense Secretary Mark Esper has fired the Secretary of the Navy, Richard Spencer. This follows a conflict involving President Trump and top military leaders over the fate of a Navy SEAL accused of war crimes in Iraq. Billionaire Michael Bloomberg has officially joined the Democratic race for president. The former New York City mayor describes himself as uniquely positioned to defeat President Trump. Media projections from Hong Kong say pro-democracy parties have won a resounding victory following Sunday's local elections. The vote comes after months of pro-democracy protests and frequent clashes with police. And 42 people have been charged with disorderly conduct after a protest interrupted the Harvard-Yale College football game. Students and alumni occupied the field in New Haven during halftime Saturday, calling for climate change action, among other issues. Matt Small, The Associated Press with AP News Minute.
U.S. Vice President Mike Pence made an unannounced visit to Iraq on Saturday in the highest-level American trip since President Donald Trump ordered a pullback of U.S. forces in Syria 2 months ago.
I want to extend to you first and foremost the greetings and the respect of President Donald Trump. And I want to thank you, though, Mr. President, for making time for an important opportunity to discuss the enduring bond that exists between the Kurdish people and the people of the United States of America. We were able to capture the last inch of territory controlled by ISIS in Syria, and this would not have been possible without the extraordinary alliance and partnership.
Senior White House officials met with a group of Republican senators to plan their strategy on impeachment proceedings against President Donald Trump, but Trump called it a hoax.
We had a tremendous week with the hoax, you know, the great hoax. They call it the impeachment hoax, and that's really worked out incredibly well, and we have tremendous support. I think Roger's around here someplace. I don't think I've ever seen support in the Republican Party like we do right now. We've never had this kind of support. With you all the way. Full office.
Should the whistleblower be fired, Mr. President?
What whistleblower? I don't think there is. I consider it to be a fake whistleblower because what he wrote didn't correspond to what I said in any way, shape, or form. Thank you very much, everybody.
Last Friday, Trump called into the Fox and Friends television program to say that he wants a trial, claiming the Democrats have nothing incriminating on him. Well, we're looking at a 30% chance of flurries today, but a high of 1 degree. Complete weather details are coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Here's a look at our weather highlights for today and tomorrow in Lethbridge. We will be seeing a 30% chance of flurries today with a high of 1 degree, a low of -8 overnight. Tomorrow, also a chance of flurries with a high of -3 and a low of -7 over tomorrow evening. So a little bit chillier temperatures, and looking ahead to the 5-day forecast, we're not going to see it warm up at all either. Flurries expected for Wednesday with a high of -6. Flurries also expected on Thursday with a high of only -11. High of -10 is expected on Friday with a mix of sun and cloud. But sunshine for the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, with highs of -3 and -2 for those days. So winter is definitely coming and we can feel it. The average high and lows for this time of year, according to the almanac, the average high should be 2 degrees, average low around -9. The high temperature on this day was in 1939. It was 16 degrees. The lowest temperature was back in 1985. It was a chilly -28 degrees. The sun rose this morning at 7:58 a.m. and will be setting at 4:39 p.m. So under 9 hours of daylight happening these days. Looking to the west coast, we're going to be seeing lots of sunshine in Victoria, 10-degree high there. Vancouver will see a high of 7 degrees with lots of sunshine. Flurries expected up in Edmonton with a high of 3 degrees and a chance of snow also in Calgary with a 0-degree high expected. 0 also expected in Saskatoon with a mix of sun and cloud. Lots of clouds though in Regina today with a high of -1. A high of -1 is expected for our Grey Cup champions, Winnipeg, and they're going to be seeing some flurries today as well. Toronto is going to see some showers today with a high of 7 degrees. Ottawa, a mix of sun and cloud, but also a chance of showers, 5-degree high there. 4 degrees is expected in Montreal today with a mix of sun and cloud. Looking to Atlantic Canada, we're going to see lots of precipitation, but in different forms. Fredericton will see some flurries with a high of 2 degrees. Showers expected today in Halifax with a high of 8 degrees. Same thing for Charlottetown. They're going to have an 8-degree high. St. John's, Newfoundland will see showers today as well, but their high will be 5 degrees. That's your forecast. Here's a look at what's happening in your community.
Here's your Bridge City News Community Calendar. The Downtown Lethbridge BRZ is looking for volunteers to help with the Downtown Holiday Market, taking place Saturday, November 23rd. Volunteers will be assisting with setup and takedown, handing out popcorn and hot chocolate, and the best job of all, helping Santa Claus. For more information, email Tasha at tasha@downtownlethbridge.com. Come to the Nika Yuko Japanese Garden on Friday, November 29th as they kick off the season with their Winter Light Festival, which will run until January 31st. On that evening, the gates will open at 6 p.m. with greetings from sponsors and dignitaries at 7. Admission is $9 for adults, $7 for kids ages 6 to 15, and ticket packages, which include food and drinks, are also available. For more information, visit nikayuko.com. The 2019 Big Christmas Trade Show and Farmers Market is taking place November 29th and November 30th at Exhibition Park. Come for unique gift ideas and a huge selection of holiday baking. New this year, the event is expanding into the entire main pavilion with over 250 vendors. Admission is $3. Children under 10 can enter for free. For more information, visit exhibitionpark.ca. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.
Well, the longest Grey Cup drought in the Canadian Football League is over. In front of a crowd of over 35,400 fans at McMahon Stadium in Calgary last night, the Bombers defeated the Hamilton Tiger Cats 33-12 to capture their 11th Grey Cup in the team's history, but its first title since 1990. Winnipeg native Andrew Harris became the first player in CFL history to win both the Grey Cup's Most Outstanding Player as well as the Most Outstanding Canadian awards. New electric vehicles and several new small SUVs were among the new models on display at the Los Angeles Auto Show. They include an all-electric Ford SUV that the automaker has branded as a Mustang.
This year's Los Angeles Auto Show, obviously the big deal is an all-electric Mustang. That's the Mustang Mach E. That's obviously the first time they've done something like that. You know, there's going to be some purists that say, well, an electric Mustang isn't a real Mustang, but I think at the same time, the name Ford Mustang has a lot of equity, a lot of meaning for American buyers, and given that they've promised a certain level of performance and the price is actually somewhat reasonable, given that it's all electric, I think it probably will be successful, but it's certainly kind of the buzz of this show. Years ago, the priority was, you always heard either about things like horsepower or fuel efficiency, that kind of thing, let's just say a decade ago. The new version of that is definitely technology, and specifically safety technology. So features like lane departure warning. It lets you know if your car veers out of the lane. Forward collision warning, which tells you you're about to hit that car. And one step further, which is even a thing you can get today, forward collision intervention, which means that if you don't act, the car will start braking for you. Those are all super helpful pieces, in addition to, obviously, backup cameras are now required, but there's also warnings for when you're backing out of a parking space at the store. It will tell you a car is coming from the side. The car can see it even though you can't. So those kinds of things they are promoting because they know that it nets real-world results, and people respond to that.
On this day in history, President John F. Kennedy was laid to rest at Arlington Cemetery. New details emerged about the Iran-Contra affair. British forces left New York, and baseball's Joe DiMaggio was born. This is Today in History for November 25th.
November 25th, 1963. Three days after his slaying in Dallas, the body of President John F. Kennedy is laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. 1986. In Washington, new details about the Iran-Contra affair engulfed President Ronald Reagan's administration. Reagan and Attorney General Edwin Meese reveal profits from secret arms sales to Iran have been diverted to the Contra rebels in Nicaragua. 1783. British forces evacuate New York, their last military position in the United States during the Revolutionary War. 1999. Off the Florida coast, fishermen rescue Elian Gonzalez after he survived a shipwreck while trying to reach the U.S. with his mother. An international custody battle soon unfolds between Elian's father in Cuba and the boy's Miami relatives. The following year, the U.S. government removes Elian from those relatives and returns him to his father. And 1914.
You know, you're not only doing it for yourself, but at the fans.
Joe DiMaggio, one of baseball's greatest hitters and center fielders, was born in Martinez, California. Today in History, November 25th, Tim McGuire, The Associated Press.
Northern England has experienced major flooding over the last couple of weeks, resulting in road closures, power outages, and flooded basements. But local churches have jumped in and lent a helping hand.
As extreme floods have wreaked havoc across the north of England, churches are at the forefront of providing practical and spiritual support to the many families whose lives have been devastated by this disaster. Campus pastor at Legacy Church in Doncaster, Matt Boyle, explains how they were quick to mobilise vital help in some of the worst hit areas.
We went and visited some residents. We just went to see what the need is. We sent a team up to do some clear up in one of the caravan sites. Every single one of those caravans has been completely turned upside down. So we've got two teams out at the moment in two of the worst affected areas, and what they're doing is joining in the efforts with the local community that are there as well. And one of the amazing things is just to see the church come together with the community, and so that people are seeing the church in the most awful of circumstances for them, just shining a light.
Boyle says with the temperatures plummeting and Christmas approaching, they're distributing packs of supplies to help families get through the harsh winter months ahead.
We're also working with local organisations for a Christmas present appeal. Many families we've spoken to, presents have been completely gone. It's not been covered by house insurance. We've also got a couple of hundred people coming in to wrap hampers, gifts, cleaning hampers, and just do some practical things that we can do immediately.
And these volunteers at Legacy Church explain what motivates them to give up their time to lend their support.
Doncaster's in a needy time right now, and as a church we just want to help our community. I'm passionate about people, so yeah, I just really want to just help in the best way that I can.
For me, it's because you can see the devastation on TV, and that's one thing, kind of having the emotion and hoping the people are all right. But for us, it's right on our doorstep, and so we can actually do something about it. So we just wanted to get our heads and our money together and just see how much support we can actually give to the people that are close to us.
This caravan park resident, Stuart, says the help they've received from the church has been a real lifeline at this difficult time.
Churches have been absolutely fantastic, been down with hot foods and drinks and cleaning supplies to help clean up.
So as countless people benefit from this love and action from local Christians like these, it's hoped many will also encounter the saving grace of Christ this winter. Peter Wooding for the Global News Alliance, Doncaster, England.
Lethbridge Mayor Chris Bierman stopped by our studios to give an update on where the city is at with the ongoing fight against crime and the opioid crisis, as well as some good economic news for the city. That interview is coming up after the break. Stay with us.